Hello everyone and welcome to Unwinding Minds. We're going to talk about connection today. This video is part one of a series where we try to get closer to understanding how the human mind responds to connection. In this video we're exploring if it is something that we need, and then in the next we'll expand more on connection with others and how to increase that in your life in the context of chronic illness. In the last video we'll talk about connection with self. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's dive into connection. What does it mean to be connected to others? And why is connection seen as so valuable? Let's start with what connection is and why it might be important in the context of chronic illness. Connection is part of the story of our evolution as a species. God, that really does sound pretentious, but the reason that we developed communities, hunted and gathered together, fought in wars together to defend territories or to expand, was because early man recognized the massive advantage that team effort offers for survival. Working in teams takes pressure from an individual animal to yield all of the resources such as food that it might need to survive, and it creates comfort, which is the cradle of creativity. Humans are incredibly adaptable, but at a core level we depend on connection in order to physically survive and psychologically too. Our bonds to each other are existential, but they're also neurologically hardwired for social interaction. Neurotransmitters like oxytocin and dopamine reinforce bonding. A lack of connection and human interaction has been shown to have devastating effects on children in particular. Infants can suffer severe cognitive and emotional delays without it. I could point to the infamous, if not slightly outdated, experiment by Harry Harlow on the importance of nurturing with the cloth versus wire mother, but I feel that this video would get quite long if I did. I am happy to expand on it in other videos though, if you are interested, because I do like to waffle about the science. Needless to say, connection has a clear impact on our brain development from infancy, but a lack of connection is also shown to have huge impacts throughout your entire life. Lack of connection is strongly linked to mental health conditions like anxiety, depression, and even, sadly, premature death, according to some studies. An important caveat: everyone has a slightly different level of need for connection. Spending time alone is not the only factor in those early deaths. Introverted people need not fear the hand of death because they prefer to spend most of their time away from others. Isolation is as much about how you feel as it is about being physically present around others. Being around others helps us to learn more about ourselves, to develop, grow, and become more refined versions of who we are. We can learn a lot in our intimate relationships about how we want to live our own lives and how we can give to the world. Meaningful connections expose us to diverse perspectives and ways of thinking. Whether it's spiritual, intellectual, cultural, or emotional, we can choose to grow by seeing life through somebody else's eyes. In short, connection helps us to become wiser people and happier as well. The Harvard study of adult development started in 1938 and has followed people over many years to learn what helps us live happy and healthy lives. One of the most important findings in that study is that having close relationships with family and friends is the best indicator of happiness and good health. People who stay connected with others tend to stay mentally and physically healthier for longer. In fact, having strong relationships is a better predictor of living a long, happy life than things like social background, intelligence, or even genetics. It's obviously not the only predictor for long-term outcomes, but it is clear that connection can pay a profound difference towards our quality of life. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please consider liking it and subscribing so that you don't miss any future uploads. Thanks. There are as many different views on the way that we should connect as there are people on this planet. I've never met two people who have exactly the same expectations when it comes to what friendship means or what defines a happy and healthy relationship. Do friends speak once a day, once a month, or once a year? Is friendship a lifelong gift or an endeavour where loss is certain? Should your friend arrive early to a party or fashionably late? How does neurodivergence alter the way that connection and friendships look and feel between autistic people and holistic people, or ADHDers versus neurotypicals? What does it mean to be a good or bad friend? Are there tangible answers to these questions that we can define, express, and agree on? Probably not. You see, connection and the desire to be seen and loved might be universal, but the way we connect is the important thing. What do you expect? When we look at the importance of connection, we have to evaluate what we are expecting from it. I really invite you to explore that question and to keep exploring it throughout your life, because your circumstances might just change the answer. Cultural values might shift your perception of what is correct in friendships. For example, a person from Germany might turn up to a party right on time. A person from Spain might be late in arriving, and both might be attempting to be polite by doing that. Your values are also influenced by your psychological state and your relationship with yourself. So we've reached the conclusion that connection really is important and valuable and a key to happiness and growth. So what actions can we take to be proactive about friendship? Well, in part 2, we'll explore the hidden barriers to connection, particularly when you're disabled, and how to break through them. You won't want to miss it. It's difficult because only some parts of friendship are in your locus of control. We have an upcoming video about your locus of control and circles of control, but to simplify here, for those of you that don't know, your locus of control is the factors that you solely have control of, like, making sure you brush your teeth in the morning before hanging out with your friends to make sure that your breath doesn't honk. But it also includes things like making sure you message your friends if you haven't reached out for a while and you want to keep that connection with them going. Those are the types of things that you have control over, and there are many more than that, but we'd be here literally all day if I listed every single one. The other part of friendship, however, is about the decision the other person makes. If you reached out to a friend several times and it's been a year since they got in touch with you, their decision not to reach out to you as well is not something that you have control over. A bridge cannot be built from one side only, after all. The sad reality of becoming ill or disabled is that some people might become uncomfortable with you in a way that they weren't before. I know it's really hard. It sometimes means filtering through our relationships and friendships, weeding out the weaker relationships so that stronger ones can take root. Or it can mean increasing connection with those others through being more vulnerable and honest and inviting the same in kind. That's the thing, you might not have control of how a physical illness or disability or struggle of control around your mental health affects you, but you do have control of your actions and attitude. If you're feeling lonely and isolated, there are steps that you can take which are in your locus of control, and we'll be covering those steps in the next video in this 3-part series. Well, I'm glad that you joined me today. That's all for part 1. Connection is a complex topic, so this is barely a drop in the water. If you have a different view on connection, drop a comment below because I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so that you don't miss part 2 if you're interested in watching it. You can also check the description or the pinned comment for links to more, including my website and counselling services. I do love to waffle about research and studies, so let me know if you want me to expand on the science behind connection, and I will put together a video. Thank you so much for watching, and take really good care.